Get the Intel, the podcast meant for those of us trying to find out what the hell is going on in the field. Here we discuss tools, techniques, and approaches that you can implement to streamline operations and let you focus on your craft.
Chad Gill here. I'm the host of the Get the Intel podcast. This episode is brought to you by Laminin Coaching. Laminin is a business coaching company with a focus on contractors in and around construction. We not only help with proposing solutions and methods, but we implement them in your business as well. After all, good ideas are not useful until they're implemented. So if you're ready to elevate your business, visit us at laminincoach.com to see our full range of services. So joining me today is Bruno Freitas. He went from being a Home Depot laborer to having an 8-figure business. He hopes that his story can help immigrants that work in construction to dream big. So that's a broad statement, Bruno. I appreciate you coming on board. I'm anxious to hear this Home Depot story, and kind of what your path to where you are is.
All right, Chad, I appreciate you bringing me in. It's an honor to be here, and I hope this can help someone, and hope this can really reach people that one day desire to have their own business.
Well, that's it. That's a lot of us, so for sure. Yeah. So I guess to start off, so where are you from? And then you're in the San Francisco Bay. Are you in San Francisco or the Bay Area? Because normally we talk to people from San Francisco, they say we're from the Bay Area.
From the Bay Area, yeah. So I'm about 25 minutes away from San Francisco in East Bay. That's where I live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. But so what was your path to getting there?
All right. So originally from Brazil, someone called me. So I came over when I was 16 years old. My parents was already living here. So coming here, I'm not ashamed today because I am a U.S. citizenship. So I already been forgiven from the way I came in. I did came in through the back door. And today, fortunate enough, I'm a U.S. citizen. But when I came over, I come from a small little town. Not a lot of infrastructure. It was like a very small town developing. And I basically grew up in a farm. I grew up in a place where, we never had, we always had food because we plant our own food, right? We grow our own food. So it's like, we're never going to be starving, but we never had access to money. Things were super hard. And if you live outside the US, you can relate with me that coming to the US sometimes can be a dream for someone. It can be a dream for so many people, actually. And my dad had that dream and said, hey, I'm going to the US. I'm going to make a better life for all of you. And I was away from my parents for about 5 years. And I was left behind with my 8-year-old sister. So one day my dad calls me and says, hey, we're going to bring you to where we at. We're going to bring you to California, San Francisco. And I was like, great, I got to see my parents again. When they left, I was only 11 years old. My sister at the time was like 2-3 years old. And then we got to come in when I was 16 and my sister was already 11 or 8, something, 11 or 10. Long story short, we went from Brazil to Mexico. We got in a plane from Mexico to Cuba. And then from Cuba, things gets really interesting because now we're trying to get into the U.S. through the sea. We're not trying to cross through the Mexico border. We're trying to get through the Bermuda Triangle, like right there, the Caribbean Sea, right? Which is the worst part that you can actually think about crossing with the boats. So we get there in Cuba and we wait on a boat. This boat never arrives. And then we get another little plane and we change islands from Cuba to Bahamas. And then in that little plane, brother, I'll tell you this, we had chickens inside the plane. We have live animals inside that plane. So it was like a very wild situation. We thought we were going to die, hurricane season, a lot of storms. And it was like a very, very stressful scenario. And that was not even the worst that was about to come. We're landing in Bahamas and then still waiting on this boat that never arrives. Finally, the boat arrives, right? You would think it's a cruise or it's like a yacht. No, it was a fishing boat, right? It was like a small little boat. And then my sister and I and some other people that was there, I don't recall their names or who they were. We had to get into the side of this boat, and then we go from Bahamas to Florida in that boat through the Bermuda Triangle. It was a very gnarly scenario. This was in January. What is today? Today is January
17th.
Okay, on the 21st, celebrate 17 years that I came in, right? So it's like in 4 days. So that's from Bahamas to Florida, it usually takes about 8 to 12 hours. A big storm kicks in. We're in the boat. It's a small little boat. I don't know if you ever been inside deep sea during a storm. So the waves, they don't crash, but it shakes a lot. So you have this big wall of 100 foot plus of a water going up, and then I could hear the boat going like cracking, because it was all wood. It was not like a fiberglass. It was like wooden. And every time that the waves would come, it would like churn that thing and twist that thing so badly that I couldn't hear the cracks. Crack, crack,
Oh,
about to rip it apart. The motor stops working. I go all the way down. I start taking water out. I fainted because it's like too much movement and my brain, I don't know what happened. I just pass out. They have to pull me out of there and they're trying to take the water out. It was a nightmare. It was really rough,
yeah.
but we survived. We survived, right?
You're
Something
doing
that was
all of
supposed
this
to
with your 11-year-old daughter, your 11-year-old sister in tow.
sister with my sister there. I remember one time where I just hugged her and we prayed. It was like, we're gonna die, and there's no way we're gonna make out of this. And then God had a great plan for our lives here. And long story short, we made to Florida. The whole thing that was supposed to take us 3 to 4 days to do it took us 21 days for everything. So the minute I left my house to get to the Florida, and then when I got inside, I jumped in a plane and we flew over to San Francisco, and that's where we met our parents again. And there, right there, it was already a journey, right? And I don't take for granted that God gave me to be in this country. Like, I am so thankful for the U.S. I'm the kind of immigrant that came here not to milk the cow and go back to my country. I came here to create a legacy. I came here to create a generational change. Like, I'm not here just to milk the cow, right? So one thing that I learned when I first got here, if you don't go to school because you're a minor, the cops knocks on your door. So my parents said, go to high school. You got to go to the school. So going to the school, I went to high school for 2 years. I met my wife there. So I met my wife in high school. I proposed to her at junior prom. We got married at senior prom.
Oh, wow.
So check this out. She turned 18 in December. We got married in May. She finished high school in June, right? So it was like a very crazy scenario. And then when we get married, you become a man. What you do? Got to go to work, right?
That's right.
And then
Go to work.
now imagine, and how do you start working in a country where you're illegal, where you don't have access to like benefits, where you don't have access to just knock on the door and ask for a job, right? You don't have your paperwork, you don't have your social, right? I had to go to Home Depot. I had to really wait for people to pick me up, and that was the only hope and the only scenario that I potentially could be working where people need me for a day or maybe a few hours, and I'll get $20, $40 here and there, $80, $100. So it was like a place out of I'm desperate to work because I'm married now. I got to provide for my wife. I need to rent a house. At the time, we're living with her moms, and it was not the greatest thing. When you get married, you want to get your place, right? And I had to start somewhere, and that's exactly what happened. I started at Home Depot by going there, waiting on people to pick me up. Then over time, you get connected with other people and people that already picked you up, and they know what you can do, and they know what you're capable of doing it, right? So by the time I was 19, I kind of start really making some money by all the connections that I made at Home Depot, and the contractors are going there to pick up lumber, to pick up whatever for their job site. And you just knock on the door and just, hey, dude, is that okay if I go work with you? My benefits was knowing that I could speak English. Majority of the guys out there, they don't. So it's like whenever a contractor will come here to Home Depot to pick up a material or something, I'm like, hey, is that okay if I go help you? And oh, I can actually talk with you and understand what you're saying. So going to high school for those 2 years really helped me it really helped me knowing that I was gonna be able to uh, uh, communicate and understand what someone is talking to me or what someone's saying to me, right? So I had to learn Spanish because Brazil we speak Portuguese, so from Portuguese to Spanish and then translate it to English. And then my mind we used to work like that: English, Spanish, Portuguese. I'm always translating thing on my brain nonstop, right? trying to
Right.
understand everything.
I
So
imagine you probably
that's
slipped from one to the other by accident.
all the time, all the time. So and that's basically how I started, right? Going to Home Depot, wait on people to pick me up, and I created a clientele. I created a group of people that I could call constantly by saying, "Hey, do you need me to help you with anything? Is that okay if I clean up your yard? Is there any job site construction debris that you need me? I can go there with a little pickup truck and clean up, right?" So I had to be someone that's not waiting on the opportunity. A lot of people have this misconception that whenever opportunity comes around, you got to jump and get it. I never waited for opportunity. I made my own opportunities. I hunted down my opportunities, and that's what it is. So people waiting on other people to knock on the door. When someone knocks on your door, go do something. No, I ripped the door off and I went for the opportunity, right? So the mindset needs to be that first, I don't deserve to be here. I'm just thankful that I'm here in this country. I'm not from here, but if I made here, it's because there is a purpose. There's something greater that I can be doing, right? And the second thing is like coming from nothing, you become fearless. Because if you lose everything, you just go back to usual. Like you're not afraid. You're not afraid of like, oh, I'm gonna build all this, and if I lose it, and a lot of people has this misconception of, oh, I built this journey, this business, and I want to keep it going. The business not doing well. You gotta like cut things. You gotta change your mentality of the business. But just for the sake of saying I have a business, people go into that. People go into like steep scenarios just because they want to be proud of themselves because they have a business. Like the mentality should change of like, you gotta just be humble as much as you can in order for you to keep succeeding. Otherwise, what's gonna happen is your ego, yourself you're gonna eat yourself alive, basically, right? So I had to learn the hard way. I had to start it like that, and basically that's how I first started into the construction, by getting picked up at Home Depot, and that's how I started my first business, which was just like a cell phone with a bunch of people that I could call and ask them for a job.
That's a lot of business for many people, though. I mean, that's amazing. So how do you go? So from that, you go into and you specialize in landscaping, outdoor environments, and so I assume you create a business. Did you have a mentor? Did somebody follow, or are you just plowing through doorways and you just hell or high water, you're just going to make it?
Yeah, dude,
It
it
sounds
was
like you
just
did hell and high water, but still.
yeah, it was basically just finding out and going for it. Now that I work with so many different contractors and people that pick me up at Home Depot, I did a little bit of everything. I did a little bit of remodeling, kitchen remodeling, drywall, insulation, roofing. Like every time I would go with someone different, and I was ready to work. It don't matter what it was, I'm ready, right? Because I need to provide for my family. And one thing that I liked the most was just the landscape. As I went and I helped people clean up a client's yard, I kind of figured it out that weeds grow every year. And people need to clean the yard constantly. So this will be a system where you're not going to have one client where you go into a full-on remodeling. You're going to have a client that's going to keep coming to you. So it's like over the years, it's going to be it's going to be like an income that's never going to stop, right? It's going to be a residual income because that person needs you. That person needs you every year. So that's when I started to focus only on landscape and hardscape, anything that's outside the house, right? And of course, I didn't start by doing everything that I do today. I started with, I'll clean up your yard. So I used to post ads on Craigslist by saying, hey, there is a section inside Craigslist, which was free back in the days. You could advertise whatever. Now you got to pay $1 or something. But I used to post ads there saying, I'll clean up your yard. I charge $30 an hour, $40 an hour, whatever, right? And then people start calling. For cleaning up a yard, no one's really going to ask you, do you have a license or you have a license? It's just cleaning up a yard. So I was illegal at the time, working. I lost about 7 cars to the cops because every time they pulled me over, I didn't have a driver's license. So they would impound the car for 30 days. And then they'll charge you $100 a day for impound. So it's like $3,000. The cars we had, the little trucks we had, I was worth $1,500, $2,000. So it's not worth it for me to go there and pay the 30-day impound and take the car out. So it's like, you guys can go ahead and keep with that, I'm doing something good here, because you can take that car to an auction and then you give money to people that needs, right? But so it was the challenge of being illegal and try to run a business. So cops pulled me over. I lost all my equipment one time. I have all the tools, everything there. They took everything with it. And then you restart again, right? So I'm a guy from so many restart, not because I failed or because that I dropped the ball, because people actually took it away from me. But I never look at the situation. That actually gives me gas to like, I'm gonna do the right thing now. What is it that I learned from this mistake? Well, first you got to be legal in this country. So how do I become legal in this country? I married my wife, not expecting that I could get a green card through her and become a U.S. citizen. I met her because now I have someone that's legal in this country that she can help me with the business. So if she can help me with the business, now she's going to open up a corporation, and essentially I could be working under the business that belongs to my wife. That makes sense. Let's go ahead and do that. So my first business, it was my brother and I, but my wife was the one that had the paperwork with the business, and it was called BP Hauling, right? We just do hauling and cleanup. That business we made about, I was 21. We made about 800 grand our first year, and then the next year my dad got arrested and got deported, so I had to restart everything again. My brother went his way and he started working as a truck driver. We sold everything to take care of my parents back in Brazil. So my dad got arrested and deported just because he was illegal in the country, never did anything criminal besides coming in illegally. My mom goes back and my sister goes back with them. I'm a very new marriage guy with a wife, and my brother decides to go his way. So I go back and I start working again for my old bosses, right? I restart once again. In 2013, I asked my wife to open up a business, and I had a friend of mine that could pull a license for landscape and hardscape. So I asked him, hey, dude, please, would you help me get the license for the business? And here's one thing, Chad, that a lot of people don't understand is if you have a legit business in the US, if you're illegal and you have a legit business, there is like legal ways for you to do without crossing the law. And by doing that the right way, at one point, you can get your green card. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
See, so like a lot of people miss the conception of like, hey, I'm just gonna make my money here, milk the cow, and go back to my country. But if you legitimately wants to like become legal in this country, if you have a business today, you can have a tax ID number, and with that tax ID, you can open up a corporation, a company, whatever. In California, even with the tax ID now, you're eligible to pull a contractor's license, so you don't need to have a social security. As you're building that the right way, if your business is revenue over $1 million a year, now you get to apply for some type of green card for you to be legal in the country. I'm not a immigration lawyer. I'm not none of that. I know it works. It worked, right? So I was able to through my wife. Of course, I was married to her. I came through the back door. It was like all the scenario with all the odds was like you can't really become a U.S. citizen. But because I did the right thing and I went for, even though I was illegal in this country, one thing that I find out real quick was you can be here illegal, but we give you a tax ID. What's the purpose of a tax ID? Just to pay taxes, nothing else.
Get taxes, yeah.
Done, right? So I got my tax ID, and then I started paying everything that I had to pay. And then 2015, that 2013, it was Pro Pavers, which is my second business. Now it's under my wife's and my name, and let's go. We got the license. We're rock and roll. We're making a lot of money. I made my first $1 million then when I was 23 years old in gross revenue. From 23 years old to 25, I probably made another 5-6 million. And then there right there, it was when I got my green card, and then I became legal in the country. Now sky's the limit. There's nothing holding me back. I'm just gonna go all the way in. Why? Because if I lose it all, I go back to nothing. Nothing's what? Normal. So it doesn't really bother me. So I became more fearless. I'm like, I can do whatever I want. There is nothing that's going to hold me back, and I'm just going to go all the way in. So unfortunately, that Pro Pavers business failed because I'm a very good hard guy. And I help people that was illegal, and I help people that was not doing the right way like I did. And unfortunately, I got kicked on the butt. I got a big fine from the state because I was hiring illegal people, which is, whatever. But at the same time, it was a situation where the fine really took me down, took my business down. And I went back in 2017 and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this legit forever. Like, I'm not going to have to go through this again. So I went ahead and opened up Empire. I went there and I took my license myself. So today I have class A, B, C, D. I have all four licenses. So I'm an engineer license, a general contractor, a landscape, a hardscape, swimming pool, whatever I want to build on the outdoors, I can, right? So I got everything out of the way. Everyone that works with me today, they're under payroll with their social security. And I'm helping so many people get their green card through my business because I'm the kind of person I want to help people that's really working and really trying to change their lives. I'm not trying to help people that's just trying to take advantage of the system. So everyone that comes to work with me, they already know. If they ask me for a job, first thing I ask, I need your social security. If you don't have it, I'm not going to give it to you. So I have to learn the hard way, right? And I'm not the guy that knows everything. But the way I built this business, it became a business in 2020, 2021, like you know, and everyone knows. It was the year where everyone made money. And that's when I hit my first over $10 million a year, 8 figures. And then since then, things are just going, right? So organization today, last year, we have over 120 guys in the business. This year is kind of slow. 2023, over 100. And then I started 2023, I dropped it to 80 guys. This year kind of slow. We drop it to 60. And majority of the guys now are part-time, right? Just because the economy is not doing so well and things are not moving the way it was moving 2 years ago. Does that make sense? I talked too much. Sorry.
No, not at all. That doesn't make sense at all. Are you kidding me? You get knocked down however many times. You come over on a boat with an 11-year-old sister. Your parents get deported. You take a fine. You take a hit. You 7 trucks given to the state. No, none of that makes sense. But if it made sense, it wouldn't be a great story and it wouldn't be inspiring. And oh my gosh, Bruno, man, I feel guilty. I feel like I better get up and go do something. Oh my gosh, I don't even want to ask another question. I'm like, that's amazing, man. And I think I know. I mean, I know what you're saying about the idea of like when you don't have anything, you don't have anything to lose. So you're like, let's go. And a lot of people though, when they do start to accumulate, like you have, then you start to get scared about losing what you have, but you don't look scared, man. You
Yeah, and like I said, Chad, a lot of people get hold to that. Like, I built this, it's mine. It's like, who cares? You're gonna die, and all those things are gonna stay here. My grandpa used to say one thing very smart, and he says, "Son, even before you're born, it was so many jobs that need to be done. You're gonna live your whole life working. You're gonna get a lot of jobs done. You're gonna die, and still gonna have so many things should be done. So why do you really care?" And that's so profound because it's like he's right. Like, we're not the first ones that's like, hey, I got a job and I have a business. Like, so many people came before us. So many people worked before us. And so many people is going to keep working after us. So it's like we can't think that we're the very unique person that goes through this problems. It's a very unique problem that only we face and only we have to deal with. Stop. Let's just like cut the umbilical cord and grow up, be a man, right? So it's like, why we keep like thinking that only the problem happens to me. Only the problem. I could stop at the first scenario, my life sucks and this and that. And I kept going, man. I kept going. I'm so thankful that last year I became a U.S. citizen, and that was one of the biggest accomplishment that I did in my whole life. First is me, having a kid, having a son of my own, and my wife. We were together still since high school sweethearts, and we're celebrating 14 years of marriage this year, and 17 years together. So it's like, she was the first person that believed in me, and when I first came in, and I'm just so thankful for her life, and God just had everything planned out, and it's all about not giving up. It's all about not giving up, and just keep going.
I love what you said about people want to be ready for opportunity when it knocks. You're like, there's not even a door. You pulled it off. You're already charging in, and I think people miss that, the idea that it's. Maybe the opportunity's out there and you got to go get it. But I love what you're saying. I'm hunting down opportunity. I'm not waiting for it to decide to come and find me.
Yeah. And the problem with the scenarios that we see all the time is like contractors become divas in terms of like, I'm this person, I don't do that, I only do this, which is fine. Everyone should focus in their industry and just stick with that. But I feel like if it's raining, you don't have any job, are you gonna just stay at home and not do anything? Like yesterday, I was working under the weather with the guys. I'm on the job site. Why we don't have that many projects going on right now because it's the winter, it's the year, it's the raining season. But it's like, dude, I'm not just gonna sit at home and don't do nothing. I can't. I wake up motivated to do something. I wake up every morning thinking, what is it that I'm gonna make different today? What is it that I'm gonna learn today? What is it that I can do it to make my company better, my guys better, right? And today we're a team of 6 companies, right? 7 with a nonprofit, but it's like 6 business that runs inside my business, right? Because we did so well with our marketing that our competitors are like, hey, what company use for your marketing? We're doing all in house. Oh, could you do it for me? Sure, I'll do it for you. No problem, right? So we have a marketing company inside the business. We have a manufacturer business that I made a connection in Mexico, and I was able to share the same warehouse that HR Restoration Hardware has their or H, right? The Restoration Hardware, that's right.
Yeah.
They have their same manufacturer. So I have a manufacturer in Mexico with them. We do importation all the time. So I have a business to import like a specific type of stones and all of this inside the same segment that we do. We have a design business, so I design architecture drawings and all that stuff inside the business. And everything that I turn into a department actually became a business inside my organization, right? All because if I have those necessities, if I go through those problems, I do believe that my competitors and people around me face the same thing. So why not just serve them? And that's what we do.
Man, that is fantastic. Oh my gosh. So if you had to take what's like one thing that you found, like if you were going to share with contractors, like, hey man, what's that one idea or that one thing that I just want to make sure that people know or leave behind? What would yours be? When you meet somebody and you're like, hey man, it's the guy that's knocking on your window now at Home Depot saying, hey, do you need any help today? You're going to clean up your yard. What's the message you
Yeah.
leave with them?
It's the same thing that I just said, right? Like, don't wait for opportunities. You got to go face the opportunity. Like, for example, today I have a Salesforce data system that we send our estimates and we keep everything inside our Salesforce. And I built a Salesforce with my team based on the necessity that I have. So someone that's starting today, it's kind of hard for them to understand this, but like, if I don't have any jobs today, I'm not waiting on opportunities. Again, I'm always hunting my opportunities. I have over 8,000 clients in my data system. What is it that I do? Hey, I know it's off season, but we're giving you 30% off on your barbecue. So I advertise using the system that I have connection with, right? So it's like, hey, summer is not here yet, but we could do your barbecue today, and by the summer it's ready, and we give you 30% off right now. I'm creating opportunities. I'm going after what I can do. So I used to, before, working in construction and doing everything that I was trying to do, I work in 3-4 jobs. So I delivered newspapers. I was, delivering pizzas and making connections with people, right? So there was days I will call clients and do the same thing that I do in my business today. Hey, Mr. Jones, there is, it's been like, for example, at the pizzeria place, so many times I did this, right? We're always hunting for opportunities, right? I'll call a client that usual order once a month or once every other week. Let's say pepperoni pizza. So I remember calling this guy, Mr. Jones. Hey, Mr. Jones, this is Bruno from Mr. Pizza Man. Like, why are you guys calling me? I never order anything. I know, but I see here that you do have pizzas that you like the pepperoni extra large. Hey, just so you know, I have the oven ready and I have one ready right here. I'm going to put this one in. Is that okay if I send it to your way today? Oh, I don't want any pizza. Hey, I'm giving you $10 off. You better take this deal because it's already in the oven. Hey, the guy's already bought. So I'm putting like a pressure, and this guy's like, you know what? Just send my way, right? And of course, we get there and deliver the pizza, and the guys will honor the guys by tip them very well. $5, $8, whatever. So it's like, those are the type of things that I say, Chad, that people don't understand. Like, you got to hunt it down. Don't wait. If no one's knocking on your door, you got to go out there and see what's happening. Why no one's knocking on my door? I better go and find something, right? And before we finish, I'll share this one with you. I do have my Instagram page that a lot of people are following me now, and people are like, hey, you inspire me, you this and that, and it's good feedback, and that's why I do it. I post a lot of videos, I post a lot of things that I do and that I talk about. People want to call me, they can, and like I have a YouTube channel, I have all that going, right? But at the end of the day, it's like what it makes me go is like helping other people, making sure they understand, and make sure that it is possible for them to do it just like I did. And there's no where should I begin? You should begin yesterday. You should start it yesterday. Like, there's no like there's no like a stripe across the street saying start here. No, you gotta like yesterday. No one's gonna come and say I think you should start. So I have a kid the other day, and I'll share this one with you because hopefully this can inspire someone. I have a kid that said, Bruno, I watch everything you do. I have seen the stories that you say. And I just finished high school. My dad wants me to go to college. I don't. I want to start my business and I want to start a landscape. This kid had everything ready, right? So he was like, I have a dream of doing this, and I have a dream of doing that. I have a dream of doing this. So he gave all this, like probably took him a good 20 minutes to type everything that he sent my way. And the last line he said, hey, so this is all the things that I want to do. This is all the dreams that I have. What do you think I should do? And I told him, stop dreaming, start working. Just like two phrases. And he was like, wow. I was like, yeah, dude, you can dream as much as you can. If you don't start working, put in the effort, put in the hours, it's not going to happen. It's kind of like me.
Yeah.
I'm dreaming. I wish I had a Lamborghini. My dream is to have this. But what is it that you need to do you need to make money, right? In order for you to buy a car, in order for you to have your dream. So what do you do in order for you to start your business? You just start. You stop dreaming, go to work, right? And that kid started a business, and first year was last year. He made about $600,000 his first year. So it's like, good job, dude. Go for it. I never charged him any coaching or anything like that. It's just like, just to start. People need just a little push. A lot of people just need like a little push. Just do it. Just go, right? And don't be sad or don't be discouraged if it doesn't work out first time. You keep going. You keep going till it works, right? The 7-Up soda, the 7-Up soda?
Yeah.
You know the story behind that?
I don't.
Yeah, 7-Up is like by the 7th time it worked. This guy tried so many times to come up with a soda, and then when it finally happened, what should we name it? 7-Up. Why? Because by the 7th time it worked, and that's it, right? So little things like this can really inspire and help other people start their own business. If I did, anyone can do it.
Bruno, that is amazing, man. Well, please do. We're going to reach out. We'll get a link to your Instagram and your YouTube and your business page. I think there's a lot there that people can learn from. And gosh knows, man, there's a lot to pick up from you. I mean, you're definitely not you're not the norm, but it should be what we're all striving to do. And that's amazing. It is a great resource. I love the little businesses inside the business, and not that any of them are small, but they're amazing. That is quite the story, man. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna be hitting your Instagram page looking for some tips.
Yeah, Chad. I mean, you're someone that started your own business as well. I want to know when was the right time for you to exit it out? Like, when do you feel like this is it? I gotta stop.
When so it's kind of a when you're not excited about it anymore. When you're not excited. But I thought it was going to be when you were ready to kind of relax and sit down and, oh, I'm going to play golf. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But I have a business coach, and I asked her, I was like, when am I going to do that? When am I going to be that guy who doesn't have to go to work every day and do those things, be that retired guy? When did I start doing that? And she said, you might as well give up on that. She said, that's just not you. She goes, you'll change. You'll do things. You'll find something that you want to do that's exciting, that holds your energy, and then you'll go and you'll do that, and then you'll do the next thing. And there's people that do that. There are people that create things and start things, and then they're not good. I feel like there's some people are good at starting, and some people are good at maintaining. And I can tell you, I'm not good at maintaining. And when you get to a point in your business where, for me, when you get to, you're like, I feel like I had every conversation that I was going to have. It was just getting repetitive. I had all the same, machines break, jobs get shut down, things happen. It was all kind of the same thing. But then it was like, okay, but am I excited about it anymore? Do I get up thrilled to go to work? I mean, I like my people, I like my employees, I like my customers, but am I inspired to do this anymore? No, I wasn't. But I had people that were, and we had put systems in place. I mean, we were really good at, really hell bent on making sure that I felt like I had a responsibility. I always look back at my business and it felt like it was a boat, and there's this wake behind it. And the wake is your employees' families, their kids, their dreams, their hopes. And that wake gets bigger and bigger. At 100 people, you got a huge wake behind you. And it's beautiful, but it's a lot of responsibility. And so I didn't want it to be something that if something happens to me, suddenly that whole thing just stops. And so for me, the exit point was more of it was an intersection of opportunity, and I had started this coaching and remote resource company, and it was thriving. And I was like, you know what? I can polish somebody's floor, and it's amazing. I love it, and they like it, and that's cool. But when you can go and work with somebody and see them turn the corner and their business grows, your impact is so much bigger. And the calling I had, I mean, we've talked about faith and with the portion that it plays in your business. My calling was to go and do something with more impact, and I had the opportunity, so I pounced on it, and I'm not looking back. I mean, it's fantastic. But I don't think there's going to be a day where you and I are meeting on a golf course and we're not working that week. We might take an afternoon off and have a game of golf, and I look forward to it. You'll probably walk around and talk about how poorly trimmed it is, and I'll be going, man, you know how expensive this is, and we'll moan about it, and then we'll both go back to doing our job.
Yeah, I can see that. I learned how to play this year, so I'm pretty good at it as right now. I can hit one good ball throughout the whole day, and that's all.
Well, you're probably ahead of half the golfers. It's that one shot that makes golf so expensive. If you were terrible at it, you quit. That one you hit, you're like, I bet I could be good at this if I just spent a quadrillion dollars and all my time. I'd be an awesome golfer.
So I agree with you. I feel like when I did have other business that I have to stop and shut it down, and just because I was dreaming too much. Maybe it was just the wrong season for that particular dream. But one thing that today I do have a lot of mentors. I do have people around me, and I highly recommend people to have mentors around themselves, because that's the only way you're gonna grow, right? You get to a point where you understand and realize that you need people around you in order for you to keep growing. But one thing that one of my mentors, Tom Down was a guy over here in the Bay Area, started a chemical business for like yards and stuff, like Roundup type of thing. His business was not Roundup; it was a different business. He got a company comes around and buy his business out, buy him out. Did for 35 years, sold his business for $72 million, and he's like, "Yeah, this is it, done." Right. So today he just goes around. He actually helps with Tony Robbins events. He likes to be a volunteer on Tony Robbins events, and he goes all over with him. The long story short, one thing that he said to me was like, "Stop living for what you want and start living for what you're made for." And that really stuck with me because like, what is it that I was made for? And then we get into like, what's my calling? What's my purpose? Why is it that I'm here? And I look back at everything. If God allowed me to go through all the scenarios that I went through, I highly believe it was something greater. It's more than just a business. It's more than just like doing something for other people. And that's what I'm trying to do today, brother. Is just live for what I was made for, not living for what I think I should do, but living for what I was made for. And I was made for be a blessing, to be someone that inspires other people, to be someone that can help business owners and inspire people to start their own business, and inspire people to just take another step of faith and go to the next level, and like really pursue what they're made for, not what they want. And I feel like that's why I'm very that's why I have no filter. That's why I'm a fearless guy that will say whatever's in my mind based on my experience and based on things that I see around me. And if I could leave a word to someone, stop living for what you want, start living for what you're made for.
Yeah, and people are made for different things, and you don't have to apologize for not being good at something. You can just go do what it is that you're good at. And people confuse purpose and calling, and I think your calling right now might be this landscaping business, but your purpose is not. Your purpose isn't to make yards look amazing. That's your calling, and that's like what your company does. But your purpose, like you said, to inspire, to grow, to push people, to hold them along, to be a mentor. That's it just happens to be that you're using a fantastic landscaping business to do it. But yeah, that's awesome. Well, yeah, let me know when you're ready to get out of it. I know a guy that could hook you up with some coaching, man. You'd be although we'd have to warn our clients that if Bruno's going to be your coach, you better be ready to run.
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready. I wish I could do more of the coaching, but based on the plan that I do have a 5-year plan that I'm just hunting down. I have into December of next year to get to that plan. And then I might sell this business. I don't feel like I will never retire. I'll change positions and things. That's all. But yeah,
that's the way.
down the line. Yeah. Yeah. Down the line.
Fantastic. Gosh, Bruno, this has been amazing, man. I can't wait. I'm gonna put a note on December, man. I'm just curious what's gonna be. Call back in December, and you will have bought the Salesforce tower. Oh my goodness.
It's not that far from my office. I can see it from my office. So
yeah, absolutely. If you're in San Francisco, you can see it pretty much. Yeah, it's everywhere.
yeah, my office is in Oakland, right? So it's right across the bridge. It's 13 minutes from downtown. So that's where I keep my equipment, trucking, office, and all that stuff. And I have a yard where I keep the semi trucks, the excavators, all the other stuff, the fun stuff.
Oh yeah, that's the fun stuff. Man, that's terrific. Well, I look forward to connecting again soon, man. Thank you for coming on. It's been inspiring for sure.
Yeah, thanks, Chad, for having me. And anytime, just let me know.
Will do, man. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Get the Intel. We'll see you next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.